Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got our Belenos playing the Tier 10 German battleship Preussen. Uh, this was a heck of a game. I don't want to give it away, but in terms of which team won. But I will tell you that our hero, our Belenos, he had a heck of a game here. Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with this game mode, Airship Escort. So how does it all work? Well, if you have a ship or ships in this green circle, your airship moves a little bit faster. If the red team has ships or a ship in their red circle, their airship moves a little bit faster. If you have a green ship in a red circle, or vice versa, that circle moves more slowly. So the idea is you want to try and help your airship move as quickly as possible without getting yourself blapped into oblivion. And then when able to get into the red circle to slow down that team's airship. You can see that the airship follows a predetermined course. If you look at the mini-map, you can see a green line that crosses from east to west, and you can see a red line that crosses from east to west. I have heard this referred to, or maybe I came up with this, I couldn't tell you, as the fallopian game mode. If you are looking at the mini-map, I'm sure you can figure out why. Now, I actually think this is a really fun game mode. Unfortunately, very often, people forget, basically they lose their minds and they forget how to play because of this game mode. Now, we all know on this map that going down this outside edge, probably not a good idea. In fact, if we looked closely and took the time, we could probably find the little sign. There it is. You see it there on the island closest to you? It has a battleship symbol and a line drawn through it saying battleships don't go down here. But people do, right? And this game mode, for whatever reason, at least in my experience, and I realize this is anecdotal, people very often play horribly whenever this game mode pops up, as though they've never played on the map before. Not just this, but others. So, why go through all of that? Well, because I can tell you in this game, it turned out to be a really, really close game. And it was pretty well played. And our hero, at least in my opinion, was the best of the bunch in this game. Now, a little bit about the Preussen. I'm going to read for you here what it says in the World of Warships wiki. It says, the experience gained at the beginning of World War II prompted a revision of the technical characteristics of ships under construction. It was necessary to improve the horizontal armor while maintaining the draft at 11.5 meters for operations in the shallow waters of the North Sea. The new design incorporated a triple bottom and a larger number of watertight compartments for protection against underwater explosions. The main caliber, nice, that was beautiful to watch. The main caliber reached 457 millimeters, which represented a drastic increase in firepower. However, the focus of naval construction shifted towards submarines, and new battleships were no longer laid down for the needs of the Navy. I love to see a submarine get smashed, so I was particularly happy to watch that. Thank you, Arbelenos, for sending this, if for no other reason, and there are plenty, just to be able to see a submarine bite the dust early in the game. Now, there have recently been some changes introduced to counter subs, which I'm very happy about. But this game was played a while ago, and a little bit embarrassed to say, it just sat for a long time. I just had a lot of other replays that I had promised to get out. I had some ships that I was new to that I wanted to get games out on, and then the holidays got they happened, and I got a little bit behind. At one point I had about 35 replays that were kind of stacked up, and now I think I'm down to about 22. So I am making some progress. So those of you that have been here and watching, thank you very much for your patience while I deal with real life and still try to get these things done because I really enjoy this. Now, our hero took quite a beating there, which I'm sure you saw. But that isn't the end of the story. And Jutland takes out the friendly salmon. Okay, so we've learned a little bit about the Preussen, as North Carolina shows way too much side. And our hero makes him pay for that. Now, unfortunately, the choice here is turn in and be fired upon by North Carolina, Petropavlovsk, Eger, and whatever else happens to be down there in the form of destroyers. Or turn out, which is what he did, and that was the right call. 100%, no disagreement about that whatsoever. That was definitely the smart thing to do. Finishes off the North Carolina, and now a broadside shot on Eger. It's really nice for North Carolina and Eger to sit broadside for our hero, who is very, very map aware, and picks up another Citadel shot, simultaneously airdropping a submarine. Now Gibraltar beat him to it, but kudos Argelenos for situational awareness, keeping an eye on the minimap, and constantly looking for ways to be able to help the team win the game. As it stands right now, the good guys are down 2 ships, Vampire and Salmon. The bad guys are down the E-190 times 2, and the North Carolina. You see more torpedoes on the way. Lion eats one of them, and our hero uses his spotting plane to try and finish off that Petro. This is going to be a really tough shot over the edge of the mountain there, but maybe. Nope, 2 overpens. Well, that's going to happen sometimes with these really big shells, but very well played. And now you can see that our hero is repositioning his ship. Let me give you the rest of the stats on this thing. The guns, as mentioned, are 457s. They have a base 24-second reload time, which you can see is now down to 19 seconds. That's 19 seconds on 457s. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty nice. 180-degree turn time on these turrets. Well, they're slow. 40 seconds. Firing range base is 20.6 kilometers with a max dispersion at that range of 266 meters. HE shells do a max of 5,450 HP damage for 45% fire chance, which is really nice, and an 810 meters per second initial HE shell velocity. And that's another Citadel to finish off the Eger. Really, really nice shooting. Both teams now moving into position to be able to support their airship. You can see Flandre was in the green circle. We've got a sub in there now, and our Akazuki seems to be headed that way. The Alanda, that's going to be a tough thing for that cruiser, as our Venenos just absolutely crushing it. 3 kills already, 141,000 damage. And not quite 8.5 minutes into the game.
Torpedos voraus.
Looks like maybe it's going to be able to avoid these. And he picks up kill number 4, finishing off the Elanda, or Elenda, or however you would like to pronounce it. Or if you are from the country where this ship originated, I would love to know the proper pronunciation. Now it's time to put shells out on the Jutland. Akazuki beats him to the punch, and Jutland is gone. Alright, if you're keeping track, the good guys are only down 3 ships, the bad guys are down 6, but this game is far from over. So I told you about the HE shells. The AP shells do a max AP shell damage of 15,000 per shell on a Citadel shot, and that's pretty nasty. With the same 810 meter per second initial shell velocity. Secondaries, well, the secondaries could definitely come into it, and you can see that they do have some range. I think here was 11 kilometers. But our hero, for the majority of this game, stays far enough away that those aren't really going to come into play very often. Now you can see that there's a Jean Bar here. And if either our hero or the Belfast PRPR Jean Bar player get blapped, well, maybe we'll see some secondary action. Down goes the Drunken Wombat and the Flandre, and now it's 6 ships to 5. Akazuki gets sunk by Harakaza. And thank goodness for Hydro. Still looks like probably going to eat one. Can turn fast enough. It's going to be so close. Oh, he does eat one. JB is just sitting there. Guns are probably pointed this way. So the secondaries, they're 150 millimeter guns. They can do up to 1,700 damage a piece with an 8% fire chance. And Jean Bar wants none of this ship. He is pushing forward, and he is going to avoid our hero as much as he can. So the good guys still have an Akazuki, Gibraltar, Lion, that hurt, and Preussen. Only one shell makes it over the top of the island.
Torpedoes auf Steuerbord!
And our hero picks up the high caliber, trying to avoid taking another torpedo strike. But he does catch another shot into the tail end of his ship here. And that looks like it's probably going to be about it. What can he do to the crew first before he dies? Gets that last shot off. He's at 155,000 damage right now. 160,000 and counting. Well, 160,632 HP. Now, let's take a look at those lines at the top of your screen. One green line, one red line. The green line says 2 minutes and 36, 35, 34. The red line says 1 minute, 54, 53. Now, what does that mean? If you haven't played this game mode, that means that if nothing else changes, the red team is going to win the game in 1 minute and 45 seconds. You can see the green team is, well, they're quite a ways behind that. So the green team has got to make something happen here. The red team really doesn't have to. But unfortunately for them, a couple of their guys have tried, and the last one's about to try here at this corner. Now you can see Loot Junkie in the chat box there saying, stop the red circle. So if one of the green ships gets in the red circle, as I mentioned very early on, well, that slows down that counter that you see at the very top of the screen, which is now 1 minute 40 and 1 minute 2. So the red team still has the advantage. And it's Harakaza versus Akazuki. And the Harakaza has a lot more HP, but the guns are probably set up with the guns that do very little damage, max of 1,200. You can see that they're not doing a lot, whereas the Akazuki guns are just shredding the Harakaza. And Akazuki manages to finish off Harakaza with 555 HP, and then very smartly turns immediately to get into the red circle. Now keep an eye on the numbers right now. The red team's going to win in 38 seconds. And watch as we get to about the 30-second mark here. Krakian moves in, and now the green team is going to win. And not only is he in the red circle, he's going to get in the green circle. He's going to change that number even a little bit more. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the game. Arbelenos, really, really well played. You put out some huge shots, picked up some great Citadel shots, finished off 4 ships on 48 shell hits, finished off a sub, just exceptional play. Those of you joining me, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. If you did, I hope you will like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Mic off.